Welcome to IMC Live, the interactive webinar series hosted by the Industrial Marketing Collective. And we're here to help you connect with peers, sharpen your skills, and drive results in your work. I'm Alan Finewald, senior writer here at Gorilla 76, the industrial marketing agency, and one of your IMC Live hosts. Before we jump into the conversation, we're going to have a quick shout out for the go-to gathering for industrial marketers, which is happening March 3rd through the 5th of 2026. It's the Industrial Marketing Summit, and it's on for the third year running. Can you believe it, Peyton? 3 years now. If you're a marketer working in the manufacturing, engineering, or industrial sectors, this conference is made for you, and it is made for you to meet friends like you, people like you. It's built by Gorilla 76 and True Marketing. IMS delivers strategic insight, hands-on learning, and true community. I think people in this room could speak to that. I think some of you have met each other at previous gatherings there. So whether you're a team of one or leading a scaled marketing department, you'll walk away ready to market smarter, lead stronger, and impact your business. 3 in-depth workshops founded on proven playbooks, plus 2 full days of sessions led by practitioners. You don't want to miss all that. We got something for everybody. Early bird tickets are on sale now at industrialmarketingsummit.com. All right. And yeah, all right, I feel good. Now that we got that out of the way, today marks our 100th episode. This is a very special day, especially for people like Peyton, who have been here since almost the beginning. We've got some other gorillas and guests that have been here for practically the whole time. So we're very excited to get the band back together today. Let's do a quick recap of what we've done so far. In 2020, we launched this series to help industrial marketers learn, connect, and grow. 5 years later, 100 shows, 2,000 plus contacts, and nearly 3 million in revenue influenced. And we're still going, right? So we're going to give you some of that behind the scenes stuff today, along with some other useful info, things that you might be interested in. So like I said, today we're pulling back the curtain on what it took to build a sustainable show, what's worked, what has worked less well, and how we're evolving this community. For about 4 of those years, Peyton's been in the mix. So we're just going to grill her about what is working, what's not, what she thinks, and whatever you all might think. So we love to hear some opinions about this stuff. So
yeah, because I mean, like Alan said, some of you have been part of this longer than I have. I've been with Gorilla for about 4.5 years now, and the show is 5. So I wasn't here at the very beginning, and I wasn't involved for this first several months that this was running, but glad I am now. So yeah, I saw Aya pop in, Emily also popped in. I know y'all have been here for like longer than me. Karen, Karen, hey Karen. You've been here for longer than me as well. So we definitely want to hear. I dropped a question in the chat about like your favorite moments from the past 5 years. So please bring us back.
yeah, and with that in mind, let's go ahead and go all the way back to 2020. What a year it was. So what was going on at Gorilla 76 that brought IMC Live into the idea sphere and got us going on this?
Yeah, well, I think if you've been on the show before, you've heard us or our former hosts or just gorillas in general go on like a tirade against trade shows. And in 2020, COVID, hopefully this episode doesn't get flagged if that still happens, but there were no trade shows, and new business was completely uncertain in a lot of ways. And we just found, and that's for Gorilla, everyone was pulling back. We were trying to figure out how are we going to connect with our audience, and we wanted to make sure that we were kind of injecting a little bit of humanity into this new remote world that we were all living in exclusively at that point. So we knew that there was a need for connection, and something that we've always done well is, create hopeful content. So we're like, well, why not kick off a webinar series, and we'll call it Industrial Marketing Live. And we did it as like a normal webinar. And, the first few episodes were just monthly. Every time you registered for the show uniquely, it was a standard promotion flow. We emailed our segmented list, sent reminder emails that were slide decks, Q&A, what you can expect. And but it really, like, from that moment, it just started to take on a life of its own, and it really evolved into a key brand asset for Gorilla. Um, it's the reason why we've kept doing it, and I think we'll kind of get into that more later, is, I mean, it just directly ties to our own, company values. We're trying to build relationships. We like really want to see like results. And so real time learning is critical for us. And being able to have conversations with folks like you who are in-house and other industrial marketers, like even just the strategists or content strategists here at Gorilla, uh, where we're seeing and like experimenting with things so often. It was like, we just need to talk about this more, and create a space for those conversations. So that's really why it started. And then, it really started to stick into place just because, one, I had a lot of fun with it and I enjoyed doing it. I think a lot of the gorillas who've hosted in the past would say the same. Shout out to Brendon and Aaron and, yeah, yo, and Alan too. So yeah, but it's also generated real business outcomes for us. Support from leadership helps for sure.
Yeah, and getting some results definitely also builds upon support with leadership. So let's dig into those results here. Maybe some results that you wouldn't think we'd usually be digging into. Get that peek behind the curtain going. So yeah, what are the numbers looking like for what we've been doing so far?
Yeah, so I can share my screen if you guys want to see this, but Alan did share some stuff at the beginning. So I did a dive because I wanted to give you guys some real numbers. And I validated all of this with Joe Sullivan, who's our sales leader here at Gorilla, just to make sure that the numbers were accurate, and that I wasn't inflating anything, and that he liked the way that I was reporting this. So we've had 2,000 contacts come into our CRM because of IMC Live content. So that's because you either register for this show. So like just today, we've got, 43. Oh, somebody's in the waiting room. We'll let them in. Two people in the waiting room, 45 people here right now. And 2,000 folks have come into our CRM. So of those 2,000 folks, 59 of them have actually reached out to us. So we're not pitching, but you've come to us and you said, hey, I think Gorilla could be a fit. So 59 opportunities created post IMC Live launch, which was September 2020. Of those 59 opportunities, 14 became customers of Gorilla, so our clients, and 2 of those self-reported attribution was IMC Live. So like there's no question in like where did they come from? Why did they want to work with us? IMC Live was their like key reason that they shared in that self-reported attribution. How did you hear about us sort of form field? So I think it's important to say like the way that I'm measuring these numbers is by influence. So we have a couple different ways that we're tracking this. So I've mentioned that like self-reported attribution. So that would be a form field that says, how did you hear about us? How did you hear about Gorilla 76? And folks mentioned webinar, Industrial Marketing Live, IML, our former name, things like that at one point in time. And so basically what that accounts to in dollars, opportunity dollars. So channeling Dale Underwood, trying to take full credit for what marketing brings in terms of opportunity. That equated to $2.6 million in sales opportunities for Gorilla. And that's what we would say like our first deal size. So like full transparency here, working with Gorilla, we're not an inexpensive agency by any means. We would say that if you're working with us, you're probably spending on your marketing program about $200,000 a year. And that would include your media spend. So, I just took that subtracted some average media spend out of it, and basically said, okay, 180, 190,000 a year is what you're spending with Gorilla. So that's how I got our opportunity dollars, as far as like the estimate. And then total revenue generated, surprisingly, is just a little bit more than that. So 2.8 million in revenue generated by IMC Live Influence. And if you're a marketer or if you're in sales, you're like, okay, wait, you said 2.6 in opportunity and 2.8 in, dollars that you actually generated. So like how? Well, I think that is another value of the show. We have clients who join this, whether they join live or like they're just part of the community, Industrial Marketing Collective, the Slack channel. They're integrated with you, the audience here, and with a lot of gorillas. So I think it's helped us with retention in a lot of ways. So, that total revenue generated includes like lifetime value of clients that got turned on to Gorilla sometimes years ago, and they've stayed with us since. So yeah, pretty cool stuff there
Yeah.
in terms of dollars.
Yeah. And people love dollars, but we also love the views. So how we doing them views?
Yeah, I mean, so the other thing about this show, and I think that a lot of you who do webinars, this is something that you do as well, is like you repurpose it. It's kind of like you put so much effort into, and we try and keep IMC Live light, but you put so much effort into your slide deck, getting the subject matter expert on board or whatever. And then it's like you do the webinar and that's it. No, like you got to reuse that content in some way. So, we definitely do send it out via email afterwards in terms of a recording, but we also publish that like publicly on YouTube. It's not like we're gating it or anything like that. And just, we haven't even really put that much effort into the YouTube channel at all, besides like sending it out as a post show email. And that has gotten 31,000, almost 32,000 views on YouTube. So you think about like, okay, there's now 46 of us in the room here today, but 31,000 views. So whenever you have someone come to your webinar, say maybe you have 5 people. You're like, oh, well, that's disappointing. No, it's not. Like you are still creating very valuable content that can be pushed out. And we've extended it beyond just YouTube now. So, I mean, we have our podcast. So shout out again to Brendon and Aaron and Nihal if he's here. But they host our podcast or have hosted our podcast, The Manufacturing Marketer, which we launched in September 2022. So 2 years after. And that show since September 2022 has gotten almost 30,000 downloads. So, I mean, just like you think like, okay, I'm just talking to the people here, but we cater this show for you, the live attendees, but we know that there's some people that just had a conflict, and they still want this content. So we try and make it accessible. And for us, I've mentioned the attendees here today, just kind of speaking that out loud so the folks listening or who aren't here can like get that full transparency and visibility. Our highest attendance on a show has been about 90. I think we almost got to 100. I don't know. Someone correct me if you've seen it go higher than 100. And our lowest attendance has been about 5. But I'd say on average, we do have about 40 folks join us twice a month for these shows. And that's part of the reason that this show is so fun, because we use the chat, all that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, that's all great. And I know we're going to get into more of what we're hearing in the chat about success stories that go outside the numbers, I know later. But just to start off with internally, what have you noticed about, the other things that this webinar / podcast has brought about for people in Gorilla to start with?
Yeah, so I'd say like there's also been I guess what I'd call like bonus wins for the show. So like there's been business outcomes, but then there's also been like personal outcomes. I've seen many a gorilla get a promotion after being involved in this show and like developing their own thought leadership. Um, Six come to mind. And that's not just a promotion internally. I've seen people take steps well beyond gorilla. We've had, one of the, I guess, founders, our grandfather of the show, Julian Schaff. He's an entrepreneur and he started his own firm for industrial marketers. We also have Matt Schnella, who was a speaker at Industrial Marketing Summit last year, and another one of the founding like hosts of the show. He got his dream job, at an agency he'd been courting for a very long time. Um, yeah, I just look at myself and like the confidence that I've gained from being on this show where I used to be like literally sweating at the beginning, just if anyone asked me a question. And now I'm talking to you all about what I've learned. So I just think that's really cool. Yeah, I can name others, but then like on top of that, the show has expanded beyond. Like we've just seen the value in like continuing to invest in content like this and also the relationships like this. So we created like a kind of an asynchronous community, which is now hosted on Circle, but started on Slack. So folks can keep conversations going. And then like the Industrial Marketing Summit. Now we're like, okay, COVID's over. Like this started when we couldn't get together, but now we can get together. And we are kind of creating an intensive 3-day marketing conference to just really inject a lot of energy into the beginning of everyone's years. So that's going on its third year now, which is just pretty incredible. And then like, gosh, like I've mentioned like internal, but like I've also had a lot of DM conversations with folks on this call about your own careers. And I've heard folks say that this is a professional development space for them. And I think that's really cool because like the way we plan content for this show is we straight up ask you what you're trying to learn. And then like if we aren't the expert on it or we don't feel like we can like add enough value, we find somebody who can and we bring them here. And we make sure that it's put into the context of B2B manufacturers, complex sales cycles. Just sometimes you don't have a CRM, like all of that stuff. Like we're not trying just to talk and like kind of spout off the same thing that you see all over LinkedIn, which is most of the time tech company or SaaS adjacent. So I haven't even kept up with the chat. I asked the question. So like, yeah, what are some things that folks have said that they've enjoyed?
Yeah, there's a lot in there. So if anyone wants to go ahead and hop on that, has a burning story to tell, we'd love to hear it.
Open invitation to unmute. I'm just seeing a note here from Jared about the tools. We've shared a lot of tools for sure over the years. And now we have a hub for all of those tools in Circle. So Industrial Marketing Collective. So anything that we've shared here, whereas we used to have Slack and then everything would expire after 90 days. And it was like a lot to just try and keep things like present for people. So yeah, Circle's made those evergreen tools for folks. Community, sweet tips and tools. Yes.
Yeah. And people, they share a lot in the chat because it does feel like a safe space. And there is value in just being able to communicate with each other in that chat and make comments and, get that water cooler feeling across agencies and companies. And that's something that you might not get the opportunity to do other places.
Rachel noted that her own webinar program has also brought in about 2,000 new contacts. I think that's really cool. I just wanted to call that out. Go, Rachel. See you at the summit. Okay, cool.
All right.
Oh, and the chat is a big reason to keep coming back. Some months it's like a comedy hour. We do commiserate in the chat a little bit, don't we?
Yeah, we do have a question from the audience in here that I think we might as well throw in now. Get some audience interaction going. But Peyton, if you were to start this tomorrow with a new webinar, what would you do differently, having this experience behind you?
Well, from reading the chat, apparently I should have kept the Slack channel open. No, gosh, I think one of the things that has been a miss when I look at like our numbers and how our like just overall like attendance has grown over the years, our like biggest year I think was we had like, a period of like rapid growth between 2022 when we launched the podcast and 2024. And 2025 even it's been fine. Like I feel like we're at baseline, but we haven't continued to like really grow. And I think one of the big reasons behind that is we've deprioritized like the like micro content from this show. I think if you would have asked anybody who is in like the industrial marketing sphere on LinkedIn 2 years ago, about Gorilla 76, they'd be like, oh my gosh, you guys are just all over LinkedIn. Because we were like, there was no avoiding Gorilla or industrial marketing live content. Like we would take every single episode, clip it. Folks would post those on like employees at Gorilla would be like, oh yeah, at this point, it illustrates exactly what I'm trying to say. And they like build on it. So it was personal branding that was happening and like that all ships rise kind of mentality. And we've added a lot of other things on Industrial Marketing Summit, different stuff like that. And as we've added, like it made it a little bit more complicated. We've had to deprioritize some things like that micro content creation. And I just think there's like, it's a miss to not do that. And we need to get back to that if we want the show to continue to grow. And not just grow in terms of like quantity, but like attracting the right folks to the conversation. So I think that's probably been like the one thing I would change is like, just don't compromise on that. Get back to it. And now, with AI and all these tools, it's like, we're just trying to figure out, okay, let's leverage that. Like no more excuses. Like how can we make an excuse when there's content, like there's tools like Descript, that will clip this stuff for you, without much skill. So yeah. I mean, I'm curious, like, anyone else, like what you've seen.
Yeah, we had that question in the chat about if any other B2B companies are building a community within their marketplace and their customer base. So if anyone out there feels like, oh yeah, that's me, we'd love to hear about it.
I want to like piggyback on what Peyton just said. I think the only thing that we kind of missed on, so like, was the short form content. Obviously, like we've kind of fallen off the track there, which is important. But I think the other thing too is like we've also kind of fallen off on repurposing it into longer form content as well. Like when I look back on a lot of the IML or IMCL and manufacturing marketer episodes, like we just don't do a good job of like using those in other areas, right? Like we kind of just post a YouTube video and then post the full audio. But like we could have, like looking back, like maybe created a repository of really good information on the Gorilla website in blog format that links back to old episodes. And now looking back, like thinking about like how AI might be changing search, and just like having like all that really good like written content on the site might have helped us with our whatever SEO is now.
AEO, GEO.
Yeah.
I think everyone's trying to
Well,
claim.
like, I just think like having it in multiple formats, especially now with like the tools that are available, like we probably could turn some of these episodes that are more popular into longer form pieces. And then I'm thinking like, not really so much for Gorilla, but like for all of you in-house right now, like creating specific content to help your sales team in the pipeline, right? Like if you create really good content in a webinar, if you can create a short form video or a clip of a video or like a easy to read article that your sales team can just forward on to help keep like nudging deals forward. Like that's the one thing it seems like I'm like running into a lot with folks now is just like deal stalling in the pipeline. And like they need to just have tools available for sales teams to nudge people to, stay top of mind so that these deals keep moving and not just dying on the vine. So yeah, I think it's like just repurposing content in general, both short form and long form, I think is like the one of the misses we've had.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I do think like we've learned a lot from it. Like when I think about we've had to make compromises and we know that like we preach to our clients, we preach to like ourselves that short form content and like repurposing content is critical. But like for us, we've just had to balance just like you, competing priorities. While I've been doing this show, I've been working on client accounts and, that's in some ways more important. My role has recently changed at Gorilla where this is now a higher priority, but I think like the big lesson, I guess the big takeaway is that consistency in a program beats perfection. So like we've just said like, okay, we know we haven't like knocked it out of the park with every single piece of content in terms of like reusing it. But like we show up every twice a month. And if we're not showing up, we're like communicating with this community about like, hey, why like we have summer break or whatever it is. But I feel like we've made it easy on ourselves to be consistent and to keep it going. So
Speaking of stuff we've learned, we had a question from Hannah in the chat that I think would be good to go ahead and bring in here. But, we've been doing this, learning new things about being a B2B marketer. So if you were to talk to someone who's new to the B2B industry, but maybe, knows a little bit about marketing, what do you think are the key tips or lessons to get them started in the right place that we've learned so far?
yeah. Well, I think like the big thing about B2B, for me, like starting out in B2B, what I did was I did everything I could to understand like the market I was working in. So like this show is a good example. Like you're going to start to hear like trends just by showing up and listening to this. But like, for example, at Gorilla, we have another podcast called The Manufacturing Executive. Well, when I started at Gorilla, I had never worked with manufacturing companies before. And I had worked with agricultural companies. And I felt like there was like some um, values alignment between the two. And that's basically how I pitched myself in the interview. But, I was like, okay, I need to really understand like what the heck is an OEM? Like, I don't know what an OEM stands for. I was Googling that like every week and I couldn't like retain it. So finally I was like, okay, you know, Joe, our founder, he interviews manufacturing executives weekly on this show. I just need to binge this content. And I binged Gorilla content because we had a bunch of it already when I joined the company. But that helped me just gain comfortability with our audience and like with the people I was going to be working with and talking to, our clients. So I would say doing something like that. So maybe you don't have a podcast that's public that you can listen to, but I bet you your VP of sales records all of his calls, her calls. Like, could you review any of that? Are there, sales calls you can chime into, listen into, shadow, just like observe and be a fly on the wall for all of those conversations, I think is the fastest way to like just hear how people are phrasing things, get more context on like your services or your products in the marketplace. But yeah.
The things I would do if I was starting back in house, like Peyton said, like become best friends with the sales team, like know who they are. I would like if they're doing in person on-site like customer visits, I would do everything I can to get onto some of those. Especially like ones they think are going to be there, like who like your ICP, like, and just like go into facilities and like see how people are working, especially like how do people interact with your equipment. I think just like getting on site to places is really important. I'd try to like, if you guys are doing trade shows, I'd go work in the booth, and it's okay that you don't know anything about your company. Go work in the booth and you'll learn a lot. Like you're going to sit with a sales guy that's probably been there for like 35 years, and she's going to tell you everything about this company, and you'll be able to talk to customers, and you can kind of be that person of like, I'm the noob, I don't know anything. So like you can ask people coming to your booth questions and just be like, hey, I don't know anything. I'm brand new to this. I'm new to manufacturing. Like let me learn from you. If you guys are if you're doing like any assembly or manufacturing on site, like go spend a week or two like working on the line and like get your hands on product and like understand like how is your team building the things that you're going to be marketing. So and ask them like, what are you excited about? Like what do you think is really cool about this? What do you think differentiates this in the marketplace? So like those are the things I would do, like learn the company. And then on the marketing side of things, like some things I would look at right away, like you probably could find ways to refine your messaging and your positioning. I think like every single like new client at Gorilla, and like a lot of like other people that I talk to in the manufacturing space, like you see it on the websites, like their websites don't say anything. Like it's just like corporate jargon that's got a little tinge of industrial in it. So there's probably like some big wins you can make by just like refining your messaging and simplifying it down. I'm really excited over the next probably couple months. We'll be talking about this on the Manufacturing Marketer. Just like, how do you like simplify your marketing mix? Messaging, campaigns, like how do you like just simplify everything so that it just is easy and it works? Well, not that it's easy, but that like it works and it's effective and it's like a system that you can implement. So I'm excited to talk about that more in the future, but those are the things that I would do right away if I was going back in house.
Yeah. And I feel like once you got a great understanding of all that, how your company works and how your market works and all that, then you can bring in those consumer psychology and those like other marketing principles and apply that into the B2B space. It's just it's the same principles, but a different context. You got to know how to play the game in this field, but it's still a lot of the same rules if you know how to work them. So we also have some, new happenings here. We're a part of a Making Chips partnership. Peyton, you want to talk about a bit?
I mean, I kind of forgot. How can you forget? But I think like just the quality and the caliber of the content has now like brought us, and the fact that we've been niched down, like, and I think some of you would probably even chuckle at that because like manufacturing is still pretty broad. Once you're here, you realize like how different all these companies are. But we've been, so many other companies will approach us like, how did you like break into manufacturing? It's like, well, you just got to learn. I mean, like ask a lot of questions, which goes back to Brendon's advice he just gave too. One of the top podcasts, the first podcast in this space was called Making Chips. And that's been a relationship that, our founders have had for a long time, where we've talked with them over at that show, and they're expanding, just like how they manage the Making Chips media empire that's now growing, and they'd asked Gorilla to be part of it. So I think that's really cool. It's just going to increase the reach of this content overall. So that's great. I feel like we're doing what we can to help marketing get a seat at the table at these companies, and for them to see it like a true business function. And hopefully that just makes everyone's job a little bit easier in some ways. I'm sure it will also make it, just there's a different level of accountability, I guess, when you have a seat at the table. But hopefully that's a fun challenge that everyone's up for. So yeah, that's been fun.
Yeah. And what are some of the other things that we've learned that we haven't talked about so far over 100 episodes? One of them that comes to mind that we already talked about was consistency beats perfection. But what about our niche and how narrow we focused in to be able to build a community of like-minded peers? Like, how important was that for the success?
So I'll build on that a little bit from what I just said of like when I started at Gorilla, we had one podcast, and it was the Manufacturing Executive. And this show was just starting. And the reason why we started this show is we were like, okay, so who is on our panel of buying influencers at Gorilla? And we said, like, we know that we're selling an expensive marketing program. It's going to need sign off from executives. And that's who Joe talks to in every single sales call is an executive. So he's like, okay, I need to learn more about these executives. And as that show progressed, like just, I only mentioned the revenue impact from Industrial Marketing Live. Joe has done several episodes on the impact of that podcast. And from that, we were like, okay, we are only hitting one piece of our audience here, one piece of our buying influencers. And that's when we, with Brendon and Mary Keogh's strong arm, said, okay, let's take on another podcast on top of everything else. And so we started the Manufacturing Marketer podcast too. But it was, again, just to do more, to dive deeper with this specific audience. Because once we start a program with a client, executives stay involved, but they often, become more hands off, and it goes to an implementation or like an execution team, which is the marketer. So we wanted to learn more about what challenges y'all were encountering on just like a regular basis and have that feedback loop. So yeah, that was a kind of a big piece. There was one stat that I saw too that was just like, this is related to software, but platforms that target specific B2B niches deliver 10 to 15% higher conversion rates than broad campaigns. So I just think like that's part of the reason why we just want to make sure we're doing relevant content. And that kind of leads to another lesson, which is just, relevant content is always going to win out. Relevant content delivered to the specific audience that it's relevant to is going to win out. And I've already kind of mentioned feedback loops, but, we love the chat. Folks have mentioned in this show today how much that's been part of the reason why they like to keep coming back, is just the live chat in the show. We want to keep that happening. But like for all of this to take place, we've had to keep this train on the tracks. And it's not just been me running this. I've very much been a spokesperson for IMC Live, but Alan is here, Sarah is here. I mean, Grace Halverson in the background as well has supported. Brendon, Nick Tacconi, our videographer here. Like it's taken a lot of folks to keep this running, but we've done what we can to like make it a light show. So we spend 30 minutes prepping, and then we do the thing. So lots of lessons here, I guess.
Well, speaking of keeping it running, we only got 3 minutes left in our regularly scheduled programming. I cannot believe it already. So we better make this next part quick, but let's hit it fast. What's our quick hit list of best practices that you can steal from this show?
So I would say, it came up in a lot of the advice we gave, but know your audience and speak that language. If you are just like, you don't want to sound like you're not from around here, that sort of thing. So you gotta make sure that you know what's important and how folks are talking about it, and talk about it in the same way. I just mentioned like really lightly, that it's been important to make the show easy to run. We make it easy for folks to say yes to be involved with this. Like whenever I ask someone to be a guest on the show, I say, I'm not expecting you to make a deck. I'm not expecting you to, spend more than 20 minutes prepping with me. So just that has made it a lot easier to keep it going for 5 years. We keep it in Zoom because we know how Zoom works, but, maybe we'll start to experiment with that in the future, but it's important to have tech that doesn't fail and that doesn't stress you out. So that's been good. I think like the best practice that we are still trying to like fully embody is that repurposing the content, and to do that in a really disciplined manner. So
I feel like the other thing that you do really good that's helped this thing like keep momentum is we do long range planning, right? Like we do like put topics on a spreadsheet. We just have a Google sheet that has a list of the things we're going to talk about, and I don't know how far out we do it, but we do it like at least a quarter out. And, and we base a lot of the decisions on the topics we make based on what we're hearing from you all. So like at least having that plan in place, like these are the things that we are going to talk about. Let's just like get our head wrapped around how we're going to prep for each of those. So I wouldn't go out too far because I think the markets change so fast and things can change fast. But
Totally agree.
just like look out a quarter and like look at like what is your like value prop or what is your promise statement? What are your like key differentiating benefits for your customers, and just talk about those things like a bunch of different ways all the time. And get on some sort of cadence. Like, I think that's the thing is like just showing up consistently has been probably the biggest thing, right? Like we show up every single 2 weeks. I think where webinar programs go to die is when you're like, let's just do one now. It's like, well, no one knows about it. So now you have to like do all this prep for it. And then people don't know when to show up if you're going to keep doing it. So I think one-offs are tough. I don't know if you have to do every other week cadence like we're doing, but maybe once a month or every other month, like whatever your cadence is, that something that you can commit to, and you can increase the frequency in the future. But it's like the one-off random ones when it's like, well, we're gonna do one on Tuesday, and then we're gonna do one on Thursday, and then a Saturday one. It's like, well, no one's gonna show up to the Saturday one. So it's like
The biggest way to tank attendance on an IMC live is to switch the time.
Yeah,
We
even
all
like
are 10 a.m.ers, and that is that. So we know it.
All right. Well, we're already at the mark. But before we go, what's next for the webinar or for the community that people should keep in mind, Peyton?
Yeah, I mean, I know folks are missing Slack, but we are, especially like I said, as I've been switching in my role and just kind of guerrillas investing more in our own marketing and the community here. We're leaning into Industrial Marketing Collective on Circle. So industrialmarketingcollective.com, there's a community there that we'd love for you to be part of. It feels like the discussions that are happening there are a little bit more buttoned up than what we used to get on Slack, but it's like lots of deep thinking. I like it. So we'll see what we continue to develop there, but just know this community is not just relegated to twice monthly Zooms. It's bigger. And we're going to continue to figure that out and make that a more valuable place with more on-demand resources, things that you can get like those tools and templates. Just making sure we're taking advantage of like, oh yeah, this would be a cool thing to share. Because we have a lot of that we just sometimes don't even realize that we should add to Circle. So we're doing that more. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. I'm sure you're going to see the manufacturing marketer under Brendon and Ehall evolve a little bit more, some deeper content there, maybe some more analysis of the conversations we're having in this show, but that's to come. And then, we're continuing to build out Industrial Marketing Summit with our partner, True Marketing. So that's been really fun, getting some like really big name speakers to come there, making like tailored content for industrial marketers. And that's just going to remain the goal, is that we're creating relevant, valuable, helpful assets for y'all. So no big deal.
No biggie, just another day. All right. Well, on to the next day. Well, thanks for being a part of the ride, everybody. Whether this is your first show or your 50th, you're a huge part of the reason we're here. And we'll drop resources after the show via YouTube and our podcast, The Manufacturing Marketer, so you can revisit this and other episodes whenever you'd like. Peyton, as the star of the show, if folks want to get a hold of you, what should they do?
Well, you can reply to any of the IMC Live emails that go out. That just goes straight to me, shortcut. And you can also DM me in the Industrial Marketing Collective group or on LinkedIn, Peyton Warren. Any of the gorillas here can also like help you with that. And just know that I'm always open to any of your feedback, questions, or ideas you have for the show. Yeah, love to hear it. Love to hear from you. Glad to see you all today.
All right. Yeah. And on for the next show, that is episode 101, which is going to be on August 21st at 10 a.m., everyone's favorite time. We're digging into how to make marketing more enjoyable. Even when work feels repetitive or routine, we're going to try to draw all the joy out of it we can. So you'll hear from a panel of creatives on how they use collaboration, spontaneity, and a little bit of fun to drive better results. So, better times for you, better times for the business. Between now and then, if you'd like to keep the conversation going with your peers, which we all know you like to do, join us on Circle's discussion boards. Visit us at industrialmarketingcollective.com or ping a gorilla and we'll get you all set up there. And one more time, please consider visiting industrialmarketingsummit.com to get your early bird tickets. They are on sale now and we would love to see you all in Austin.
Would so love to see you guys in Austin. Well, thanks everyone for being here today. It was really good to see your faces. And we will catch you next time.
Bye, everybody. Have a good one.